Super Mario Odyssey was a huge game for the Nintendo Switch, and it's currently the best-selling game on the system. It's also one of the best games on the system, and my personal favorite, but that really doesn't say anything. And Super Mario Odyssey was such a great take on 3D Mario that it would be disappointing if nothing more like it came out again. But will there? Will Super Mario Odyssey get a sequel for the Switch that builds on what the first game established, but with its own unique way? Hello all 192 of you, I'm Redkwan, and will Super Mario Odyssey 2 happen on the Switch? Well, first, let's look at if there are any previous Mario games that have gotten sequels on the same system. The only time it happened was on the Wii with Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. Super Mario Galaxy was released early in the Wii's life and was extremely well received. It was a new take on Mario that ended up working out really well for Nintendo, and because they already had everything they needed for a sequel, they went ahead with it. And that sounds pretty similar to what's happened with the Switch. A Mario game, Super Mario Odyssey, comes out early in the system's life and is a new take on Mario games, and does very well financially and critically. The two games, Galaxy and Odyssey, actually have quite a few similarities in that way, and the fact that Galaxy got a sequel that did very well means that an Odyssey sequel is not out of the question. If Super Mario Odyssey 2 did happen, it would be great for fans, but it would also be great for Nintendo. Mario is huge, and Super Mario Odyssey is already close to the best-selling 3D Mario games, after having been out for just half a year. Before the Switch is finished, Super Mario Odyssey could very easily end up being the best-selling 3D Mario of all time. Having a sequel to Odyssey on the Switch would almost certainly make a lot of money for Nintendo, and might be a better bet than just about any other game. It definitely wouldn't be a bad idea to do it, and money is there if Nintendo wanted to go that route. They might rather make a game in another series that doesn't normally get as much attention, and they only have so many games to make, but it's hard to imagine a company turning down easy money. They've already made the engine, the animations, and the basic gameplay. If they wanted to put something out that people would enjoy, all they really need to do is make new levels. I'm sure they would have some other changes to make it feel like its own game, rather than an extension to the original Odyssey, but looking back at Galaxy and Galaxy 2, there wasn't a whole lot changed. Nintendo mainly just went crazy with new level ideas they didn't put in the first one, which means that even though they probably would make some changes for a sequel, they wouldn't really have to do that much, and they could definitely make a new game that feels more like an extra level pack, still be acclaimed and sell well. It seems easy enough, and they would really benefit from it. The reason Nintendo hasn't done more of these Mario sequels in the past is probably either that they didn't feel like they'd sell well enough to be worth it, or they wanted to give other games a chance, or maybe some combination. Super Mario Sunshine and 3D World did fine, but they didn't do well enough to make a sequel necessary. And while Super Mario 64 did do well, Nintendo probably wanted to focus on new games, seeing as there were only 2 games at launch, and Nintendo was considering making a sequel to it anyway for a while. And when we look at it, those two things holding Mario sequels back aren't problems on the Switch. Super Mario Odyssey sold really well, and as the Switch continues to grow, that game will continue to get more and more people on board. And with Nintendo's home and handheld developing merged, and the 3DS having fewer games released, in addition to Nintendo planning to have the Switch last a very long time, there would be plenty of time and resources for both new ideas and a sequel. There are also some little clues that Super Mario Odyssey 2 is coming. For one, Super Mario Odyssey has no DLC, which doesn't really seem like an important bit of information, but the fact that there isn't is a little odd. Nintendo put DLC in Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8, Splatoon 2, and Super Smash Bros., but they didn't in Super Mario Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey is a better fit for DLC than Breath of the Wild, and it sold better than the game on the Switch. The fact that there isn't any, while still having loads of great places to take levels, means that they're probably saving them for something. They might make their way to some future Mario, or even another series game at some point down the line, but I think there's a good chance that Nintendo is saving their Mario Odyssey level ideas for something sooner. Another thing is the globe in Odyssey has quite a few islands that aren't used, which honestly could mean nothing except they wanted it to feel more real, but it could also hint at those places being visited in a later sequel. The island shaped like Isle Delfino from Super Mario Sunshine made a lot of people excited for it coming in a DLC pack, but it never did. I guess it could technically still come, but it's pretty much a no at this point. And not to spoil anything, but the ending to Odyssey didn't seem terribly conclusive to me. But maybe that's just me being dumb. Probably is. So I think a Super Mario Odyssey sequel, while it might not happen, is definitely a possibility. And based on the evidence, I'd say there's a pretty good chance it'll happen. It's not a guarantee, but I could definitely see Super Mario Odyssey 2 coming to the Switch. Well, anyways, I'm Redkwan. Thank you all for watching, and I'll hopefully see you all later. Goodbye. You know, usually I put the part where I talk about nothing in between the conclusion of the goodbye, but I didn't want to waste your time, because this one is not important at all. You know when you buy a blue Joy-Con on the other side that it's normally on because you want to have a Switch that has all blue Joy-Cons, but it's expensive, so you know, you don't know if you want to do it. And then you do it, and then you realize that it just got discounted. That's based on a true story, folks. Anyways, that's it. This is the real end. Goodbye.